get ready for the cruiser.
And you are listening to WDRB Radio, spinning the most intergalactic hits. Wake up in the morning, getting money like it's crazy. Yo, bitch up on my line, she like salute me like the Navy. I be rubbing biscuits and I hit her with the gravy. It's no Stevie Wonder, all these people always pay me. Wake up in the morning, getting money like it's crazy. Yo, bitch up on my line, she like salute me like the Navy.
What is up, everybody? My name is Boozadelic, A.K.A. DJ Boozadelic, and I am in the house today. I am back with season 2 of the Boozadelic Chronicles, and I am really happy, really pleased to have with me none other than Dr.B, A.K.A. Galaxy B, with me here in the studio today, virtually.
What's up with it? Yo, little do they know that you're my big cousin for real, so appreciate being here and love you, man. It's all love, it's family. So this is dope to be able to expand the musical horizons with my own family. So that's dope.
Well, that's cool. So you mentioned music, but I want to tell the viewers out there that this man is like a jack of all trades. And not only does he like work a regular job too, but he's a professional video game guy. With what's your team's name?
Strike First Gaming.
Strike First Gaming. He's also an artist, a hip hop artist. And you do some producing too?
Yep, a little bit of beat making and producing. I do video directing, so I directed some videos and shot some music videos for artists like Kazi, my producer, who's also an artist of his own. So like I shot a lot of his videos. The list goes on.
All right, cool. Well, before we get into the meat and potatoes of this, man, how are you doing, man? Because the last time I saw you, I can't remember it was when you came up for your grandma's funeral, or was it actually when I was down in the Bay Area for the football game?
I think it was grandma's funeral because when you came down here, I was a little tied up in my schedule, and it was around the time that you were going to the game and everything.
Right.
But, yeah, it's been a minute, but I'm just glad to, see you and be here. This is lit.
Awesome, man. Well, all right. So let's dive into it. First, let's talk about this gaming thing. So. Right. I want to kind of give you guys a little story about my little cousin here. So back when I was in college, I stayed at his house with his mom and father because my parents were in Berkeley, and so I stayed with them. And I remember there was a video game system there. I think it was like an old Atari system, and I was playing like a Missile Command, and you were like in diapers. And you were just so fascinated with the game. You used to come in there, you like be hanging around my neck, and it was like he was choking me, because he'd be hanging on there, jumping up and down. So finally I put you up on my shoulders, and I'd be sitting there playing, and you were like making all the sound effects and everything. And
wow.
I mean, something right then told me that, man, this dude's gonna be a video villain, because there was a song out back then called Video Villain, as a matter of fact.
Wow. Oh, that's crazy. I didn't even know, those are those times before I, realized who I fully was and stuff. So, to see it from the outside in from your story is awesome.
Right. So how long have you been actually gaming, and how did you get into the professional gaming?
I've been gaming professionally since 2000. So I graduated high school in 1999. I'm 39 years old currently, going on the big 40 in 2021. And I've been playing since I was 19 years old in 2000. So I actually came across a group of gamers in Oakland, California. There's a arcade out there in Oakland, and I played there a lot. And I met a player named Hyro, who's big shout out to Hyro. He's one of my homies still to this day, who introduced me to the fighting game community. And I didn't even know that they had like a championship structure or anything like that. I just ran around beating people at 7-Elevens and at arcades and thought I was the best until I stepped into a bigger world, and they introduced me to that. And then ever since then, I've been pursuing greatness in fighting games and playing in the EVO World Tournament and also the U.S. national tournaments. There's a whole series of those.
Okay. And so I follow my little cousin on Facebook and Instagram. And so he's always, uploading like videos from the tournaments and all that. Mm-hmm. And so I was just like living vicariously, man, because I've seen you've been in like Japan, you've been in like Chicago, you've been down in, weren't you down in like Florida?
Florida, yeah, New York. We've been traveling everywhere. We've been traveling all across the nation and around the world, and we have even a bigger impact coming after COVID calms down. We'll be back on the road again and traveling the world. Due to COVID-19, I was not able to go to France this year. I was invited to a big tournament to go play in France, so I wasn't able to do that. So hopefully when everything clears back up, I'll be back out and playing in France and all over the world again. I just can't wait to get back to it.
Okay, and you have some pretty lofty hardware.
Right.
Yeah, didn't you place like was it #1 in the US?
Yeah, I made in 2018. I got #2 in the world in Capcom versus SNK2, and I was the #1 US player that year, ranked. So I did really well. That was like one of my greatest highlights is getting that world medal. And then in 2019, I got 5th place in the world, and I still got another world medal again, my 2nd one. So.
All right, so which one was the one where you had that big, gigantic, big ass cup of noodles?
That was 2018. That was my trophy. It was huge, just like as big as me.
So was there really noodles up in that motherfucker?
No. It's just a blow up. It's just like a plushie.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That looked like real, man. I was just like, dang.
That would feed a whole village that much top ramen.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, so tell us about what it was like, the first time you went, like, especially out of the country,
mm-hmm.
to play something that you just been, doing since you were a youngster.
It was crazy. The first time I stepped off the plane into Japan, I was in a whole nother world. It was like I went into the future 50 years. Like everything there was just more efficient and cleaner, and people think for the greater good of the community and everything like that. So it was just amazing. It was a culture shock, and a lot of the Japanese people just love Americans, and they give us a lot of love and respect when we go there. And I just got to see a lot of art and culture, and just get to picture this place that I always wanted to visit since I was a kid, because I always grew up watching Voltron and watching all the anime shows that America brought to light. And just to go there and experience the culture of anime and manga and Dragon Ball Z and Street Fighter and sci-fi and everything that they do and love over there, and the technology, it was just mind-blowing. I loved it.
Okay, and so when you were out there, I mean, you were always like shopping,
Mm-hmm.
This dude, you got to see this brother, man, because my little cousin just has like the swag, and he just wears his gear. I mean, I know I couldn't get away with wearing it, but he pulls it off because he's kind of like, tall and like slender, so it's so cool. So tell us how much the fashion kind of influence, or not influences, but I mean, how much of is that part of your persona, man?
I think fashion is everything, Big shout out to my homie Two Jars on Instagram, because he has a movement and had an album and a project called The Walking Art Tour. And that really sat with me, even though I came across Two Jars and that movement idea and that name later in life. I just feel that I am walking art. Like, what I wear is an art piece, like from the hat to the shoes to the shirt to the glasses to everything is art. And art, as everyone knows, is something that you express yourself with, or like, it's your voice, you know what I mean? So for me, how I dress is like a clear indicator of my personality, whether it be the colorful stuff or the darker stuff. I like to put it together in a way that has pizzazz, that has a wow factor to it, or just very eye-catching. So fashion's everything. It's kind of like the intro doorway for a lot of people to meet me. A lot of people see me, as a stylish person and stuff, and they feel approachable to me. Like they talk to me, or they go, "Oh, I like your shoes," or "Oh, I like that hat," or "Oh, I like that chain." They compliment, or they say something about it, and it opens the floor for me to talk to them. So I'll just be like, "Oh, thank you," and I appreciate that and stuff like that. So I think that the art is in fashion is super important for everyone to be a part of or into. Like, it's your voice, and everyone's style doesn't have to be extravagant. Sometimes it can just be, t-shirt or jeans. It's just how you wear it. It's not what you wear, it's how you wear it.
Right. Now, so you were talking about the, when you first arrived over there in Japan, they love Americans.
Mm-hmm.
And so how would you say that you were perceived, and being an African American over
Mm-hmm.
there? And then also, do you think that the fashion kind of like made it a little bit easier for you to start communicating with people? Because I mean, every little video I saw, you were always surrounded by all these people.
Right. I think that the Japanese people really are fascinated with African American culture and Black culture, period. They're very embracing to it, and they're curious about it, and they want to know more about it because all they see is what they see on TV, and what they see on TV is just the, subliminal programs, jargon that they force us to be, whether it be these rappers with crazy colored hair and, gold grills in their mouth acting crazy to, the more sophisticated side of hip hop and like or upscale side. It's definitely something that the Japanese people respect highly and they want to know more about. So they're curious and they're very nice and embracing to it. And I do think, as on the other part of your question, in that having a good sense of fashion is a doorway to them talking to you. Like when they see you standing out, they kind of want to speak on it. If you're wearing like a bright yellow sweater and it has a cool graphic on it, people will be like, oh, that sweater's tight, or they'll like it. And it gives them a chance to get to know you or talk to you because people in Japan are very respectful. So they respect your space. They respect their own space, but they're very embracing and loving people. And it's an amazing culture. I do love Japan. So like for anyone out there watching this, make sure you get to Japan before you die. It's an amazing place just to see the culture and the temples and just to understand a society that people respect each other in, and that is based on honor and an honor code. It's a very rare thing in the world left.
All right. So, while you were over there, I saw one of the videos you posted. You were actually filming a music video. So I want to transition in a little bit into the music. But, one of the things I noticed was just how cool everything looked. And you were talking about kind of futuristic. And that last video that you made, I think, is that the one you just released?
Yeah, I just released SGroove not too long ago. And that's actually one of the older songs on one of my older mixtapes, but it's something I always wanted to film a video for. And what better place to film it than Japan? So I shot that in Japan. And before I shot SGroove in Japan, I shot Yin with My Friends. And Yin with My Friends, we shot a little bit before that on one of our trips prior the year before. So it was amazing being able to shoot music videos. And a lot of people stopped and watched and took pictures while we were filming. It was really dope.
So how did you get it? Because I saw you were like in all these like different like stores and I mean, was it like you have to do over here where you had to get like a release and all that to film it? Or they just said, no, cool.
They just kept it cool with us. We just pirated that. Just wherever we were, we turned the cam on and got pictures and videos. And even the stores that don't even allow picture and video in there let us film because they just respect us so much, and they saw that how much we spend there. They know that we're valued customers, so they really let us get away with murder shooting some of those videos in those stores where it's forbidden. But they know the love. Big shout out to Bay the Nape. What's up? You already know. And Billionaire Boys Club Ice Cream. That's the movement right there. Star Trek, you know what it is. I Am Other. So good looking out, letting us film those videos in that store, in all those stores, because it made a difference and it made the videos look so lit. So appreciated that for everyone watching.
On this video, you were actually going to see parts of the videos that I'm talking about, right, or that we are talking about right now. How long have you actually been into the music itself? Because I know you had. I think I saw where you had like not too long ago you put up that you had your 100 song up on Mixcloud now.
On SoundCloud, yeah.
SoundCloud, excuse me, yeah, I'm on.
Yeah, so I had started making music around high school, and it wasn't serious for me. So basically, I was just freestyling at parties and just kind of rapping with friends over on tapes and CDs and stuff. When it's still old, way before the MP3 era and stuff. When I was in high school, which I graduated in '99, and the years prior to that, people were putting out real mixed tapes still, like cassette tapes that they were handing around in school that had, their graffiti graphics on it and their characters, and they were telling everyone to listen. So there were a lot of rappers around me who were already doing it when I was in high school, and I wasn't really rapping like that in high school. I kind of did it for fun. It wasn't until I got out of high school that I kind of started dabbling in it, and I met a group of friends. And we formed a group called Superior Tech. So big shout out to Crescent X, Beneficial, and Lax Tactics. We are the original Superior Tech. And can't forget, last but not least, the super producer Oliverian, Olive V. And Olive V was my first person who I branched off to do solo music with. So I was in Superior Tech for amount of years. We rapped, we did shows and everything. Had some creative differences, kind of like the Jackson 5 were in here, the group. And then I ended up going solo with Olive V, and then in 2006 is when I put out my first solo album Style Wars, and then ever since it's just been a journey. I've just been kind of building on the blocks of Style Wars every year, and every year putting out an album or mixtape since then.
Spending a lot of most of your time from that point in your life on down in the Bay Area. I
Hmm.
mean, there's some heavyweights down there in the Bay. I mean, you know, you got your Too Shorts, your E40s,
Hmm.
you know, just the first two that pop into my mind. Who would you say were your like biggest influences when you first started getting into the rap scene?
Well, as far as the rap scene for me in the Bay Area, one of my hugest influences is Mac Dre. I just love
Okay.
Mac Dre, R.I.P. Mac Dre. I mean, he has that way of spitting the flow in a Dr. Seuss riddly rhyme, but he makes it sound so gangsta. It's like he makes it so funny, but so gangsta at the same time. And I think that was his talent. He was able to make it fun, but he still told the street tales and the tribulations through it, but he made it more packaged in a more, I don't know, uplifting and more positive way, and he made it sound more funnier and more like embracive. So I loved Mac Dre for that reason. Andre Nicotina, another great artist who's on the underground side of that, and A.K.A. Dre Dog, and he had a whole bunch of slaps that are just like Bay Area classics, and so that was another one of my influences. Of course, Too Short and E40 and everybody else who's paved the way. Those have definitely been huge influences. And I've been blessed enough to open for a lot of those artists. So when I first kind of came out in 2006, 7, 8, 9, and I was working here in the Bay Area, I was working real hard at networking and meeting everyone. So I was on the card of a lot of those artists we mentioned shows, and I would be the openers for them. So I had some great shows. One of my favorite was opening for Keek the Sneak. I had a really good time opening for Keek the Sneak, the king of the hyphy, hyphy, hyphy. So we had a real good show. I still got all the flyers and all the pictures from those shows too. So it's something that I never leave me. It kind of just helped me get where I am now and just realize how important it is to be independent.
Uh, when you said that, you know, you kind of reached out to
Mm-hmm.
like, you know, network with these guys and kind of get yourself the opportunity. So,
Mm-hmm.
what was it like to, I mean, I mean, did you have any apprehension at all? Like, you know, these guys gonna tell me, you know, go to hell, or was it just like one of those things that I just got to do this?
Well, I just had to do what I had to do. And I had many Bay Area DJs. I don't even want to say their name to give them any promo because they're scum. But at the end of the day, they often would try to tell me that my style wasn't in, or that my style was too advanced for the Bay Area, or that it was meant for like years ahead. They were just like, you're ahead of your time a little with this type of music. It's not going to fit in now. And guess what? Weirdly so, they were right, because my style then was like what's out now, and I made it way back then. So it's kind of like the times are catching up to what I already was putting out. Now I'm kind of trying to tweak it to the trap era and to tweak it to the new age sound of 2020 and beyond. But yeah, like I kind of like was a little hesitant to mix in with the normal artists that were kind of making the genre at the time. But when I got there, I started getting embraced, and a lot of people showed me respect and love. Like one of them was the Jacka, R.I.P. the Jacka, and the Jacka was one of the Bay Area legends and underground legends, and was on the radio and had radio success. And before his passing, he had some great songs, and he put out on some of his albums with LaRue and some of the other artists. And while he did that whole tour and stuff, I was there for a lot of the shows and on the stage with him and rocking out with him. And even though my style was more like, Pharrell looking or what have you, that other kind of alternative, fresher type of hip hop, they still let me chill. Like they knew that I was a real dude. I kept it real with them. They passed the blunt to me. I passed the blunt to them. It wasn't like, who is this cat? Like he can't chill with us. Even though I was so, night and day different, they just respected the gangster, the fact that I kept it trail with them since day one. Like when I met them, they met a solid dude. And when they met me, they met a solid dude. And that's just how it was. I never was starstruck by him. I never was like, wow, you're this person. I'm just like, what's up? You real, I'm real. You fresh, I'm fresh. And they respected that. So I kind of carried myself with that in every scenario of meeting people. Like people are people, and we're going to live, die, and we bleed, and we breathe, and we shit like anybody else. So when I meet them as if, hey, I'm a presence, which I am, and you're a presence. And even though you may be more known than me, it doesn't mean that the value of what I bring is any less. And that's why I think that they mess with me, because they know I hold my head high regardless.
You know, looking at your social media, I've
Mhm.
seen you with some people like you mentioned Pharrell.
Yes, sir.
Then I saw you were hanging tight with them brothers LMFO.
Yeah, LMFAO. Yep.
Yeah, LMFAO. And it's just like, man, I look at my little cousin. He's out there doing it, man. Because I mean, at the time, those guys were hot when you were hanging out with them. You know, they
Right. And
right.
they're still the biggest, some of the biggest artists in the world. You know what I mean? They hold some pretty good records and stuff. And you know, it was just an honor to work with and meet those people. You know, and they gave me a chance and they kept me around. So that was really cool. And I appreciated it. It kind of just showed me that I'm capable of doing all that on my own scale and in my own dimension. And that's what it's about, you know. And it's all about finding your own way and doing your own thing. And that's what I've been doing from that point on. I learned a lot by pursuing trying to be with them, showed me more what I need to do for myself. So it really was a good lesson learned.
Okay, so speaking of doing it for yourself, what projects you got coming up next?
Well, currently I have an album out called Time is the New Money, and you can check that out on soundcloud.com/DJGalaxyB. I also have a little EP called World War B, and it's kind of based on 2020 and the crazy stuff going on. So it's called World War B. And then I have another one called the Sci-Fly mixtape. And Sci-Fly is kind of like all groovier, kind of like more dancier type of songs and stuff. It's called Sci-Fly. So I got all those running right now at the same time on my SoundCloud. They're really short projects. I didn't put a lot on them, under 10 songs each, just to give people a grasp and feel how I felt right now and in this time period and what's going on. But I got some real fire albums dropping in 2021. So I'm just closing out the rest of Time is the New Money, World War B, and Sci-Fly mixtape right now. 2021, you're going to be seeing some of the music videos from those projects, and then you're going to see a whole new album and music videos for that album too. So we have a big year planned, Kazi and I, on releasing brand new hot music from just the mind of where we're at right here and now.
Of all the 100 songs that you've made and the different videos you made, what would be your favorite?
Oh man, that's hard. Song wise, I would say that I really like SGroove. And that's my current music video that's out right now. I just like the groove and the feel of that. It's a mixtape song from one of Juice WRLD, RIP, one of Juice WRLD's tracks that I made a dope mixtape song on. I really just love that song, just like how it flows and the catchiness of the lyrics and everything. My favorite music video probably Yen with My Friends. I love Yen with My Friends. It is my first time in Japan. It just kind of captured that whole first getting in Japan and spending yen with your friends and balling out and just having fun. So I like Yen with My Friends. And then I have to agree with you. One of the songs that had the biggest impact, and we were talking about this privately today, was Like I Used to Be. And it has a really good catchy hook, and it's just like a trap. Like that's just a trap classic right there.
Oh man, I love that song. That's my joint right there.
Thank you. Yeah, and you know the premise behind that is, you know, looking in the mirror and I'm higher than I used to be, looking in the mirror and I'm flyer than I used to be. And
Yeah,
it's just tight. It's like
that was dope.
Yeah, I just try. I'm like my main premise, Big Cousin, is to inspire, motivate, and push other people to do whatever they want to do and do it in their own wavelength and to find glory in it. You know, don't just do something, find glory in it. Be the best at it. You know, be at the top of it. Be a notable name. Don't just do it just to blend in. Don't just do it to do it. Do it to win. Do it to have finesse. Do it with style. Do it with grace, and do it to raise your own flag, you know, and raise your own family name. Don't do it just because the next person doing it. Do it because it's right for you. And if it's not right for you, don't do it. And that's another piece of advice. Just don't do something that ain't right for you. Do what you find is good for you. For me, it's video games, music, and fashion. And that's what I've been pursuing my whole life. It's not like all of a sudden this big boom of success happened overnight. It really took time. It really took trial and error and a lot of no's and some maybes and a yes that didn't fall through, and then picking yourself up from that and restarting the process. And that's kind of like where I'm at with it now.
All right, well, you know, that's one of the things I really admire about you, man, because you're all about the grind, man. I mean, like I said at the beginning of this recording, is that, you know, you work, you do this, you do that, you know, you got your hand in a little bit of everything. And so what would you say to people out there that are aspiring to get caught up in the game? Because I know some people are like, man, I ain't gonna go finish school. I'm just gonna go ahead and be a rapper. And I
Hmm.
mean, it's not that easy. You said you put years into it, and
Right.
you're still working on your craft and stuff.
Hmm.
And so, what would you advise a youngster on how to approach this?
Well, for one, don't ever stop any educational pursuits. Like if you're in an educational pursuit, that's a backup plan. That's having something tangible that you can fall back on and that you always have a trade or skill in. So I always think do what's good on paper to keep your name on paper good. Next to that, you do what your passions and stuff are. Some people are all in. I'm just going to throw everything into doing this. I don't think it's wise. You know, when you put all your eggs in one basket, if that basket tips over or cracks, then all those eggs are gone. So make sure that you spread yourself not thin, but spread yourself out. Make sure that you have your hand in more than one venture, because if one venture closes, then the other one can open up big time. And if the other venture closes, you have another venture. So don't just be good at one thing, be good at a few things, be good at a couple things, because if one doesn't go the way that you anticipate, or even after years of grind, putting your time in, because let's be real, there's a lot of artists who are amazing rappers, singers, and producers and just don't get to the mainstream. Like they might be better than the people in the mainstream and they don't make it. But are they better is the question. Were they in the right place at the right time? Did they have their paper and their money together? Did they have their promo pack together? That's the questions you have to ask the people who say that they're better than the people who are out. Were you better really? Or are you just a better singer? You know, just being a better vocalist or that's not enough. You have to be a better product, a better like movement. And so that's what I think is important, is having yourself valuable in more than one corner of it. You know, like the best artists in the music game are producers as well, or you know what I mean, or ghostwriters as well. They do more than one thing, and that's how they blow up. One of the things like propels them to be greater. So that's my advice to everybody out there, is make sure that you have your hand in more than one thing that you're good at. And so in case one that you tried to put all the effort into fails, you have another one that can pick it up.
I love that advice, man, because I mean, too many times I see it with the youngsters. They focus on just that one aspect,
Right.
and I just think it's so essential that you learned all aspects of a certain craft. And
Mm-hmm.
you were talking about that whole thing with some of the best rappers or hip hop artists are producers,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean that's just expanding your knowledge base.
Right.
And I mean, there's so much that goes into it. And then the other thing is knowing, just in case you do make it, you
Mm-hmm.
know, you have to know, you have to have like a business plan, like, you know what I mean? You got to
Right.
have your finances and stuff together. You got to know who's in control of your money. Because I see too many
Mm-hmm.
times where somebody doesn't know anything about this and they're afraid to try to learn it themselves. And then they put out all this music, they're blowing up, they got all these videos, and you see them renting all this bling and stuff and renting all these cars for the videos, but they ain't got a pot to piss in because
Mm-hmm.
whoever wrote that contract out for them is taking all that money. And it's just sad that so many people have been exploited in that manner in this industry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really happy that you hammered on those points right there.
Yeah, and I just think that you got to be about your paper and make sure that you read the fine print, as they say.
I think I saw where you said your favorite shoe, because
Mm-hmm.
I know you collect shoes too, was the Jordan 1.
Yep, the Air Jordan Bread One, black and red Air Jordan ones. That's the first shoe my dad got me, so I love those shoes. And I have pictures of me wearing those. Me and my little brother Edward, we had those on. So dad kind of put me into the shoe game early on, and he always was like, if you take care of these, you keep them clean, I'll get you another pair. But if you mess them up, I ain't getting you no more. And I just always, I always want to stack my shoe pairs up. I want to look at my little younger me shoe collection of like 5 or 6 pairs. You're like, oh, I'm balling. I got 5, 6 pairs of shoes. Like that's big when you're a kid. So
Well, you talk about that original Jordan 1. I can remember when that came out, and I believe I was in my second year down at Oregon State, and I happened to go into the Fred Meyers, and that time I was on the radio down there, and a lot of people knew me as DJ C or CB, that's what they call me.
mm-hmm.
And so I'm in the Fred Meyers, and I walked over, I said, ooh, these are fresh. And so there's this little kid with his mom, and as soon as she heard him say that, she's like, "Oh no, I gotta buy this kid these shoes and stuff." And I think at the time they were like $69, which is probably the equivalent to about $250 now.
Right.
And that lady looked at me like she could kill me because of what I said. She ended up buying these shoes, and I'm thinking to myself, you don't have to buy them shoes for that kid.
Right.
Because I know my dad wouldn't have spent that kind of money on shoes for me. To made me earn that money myself.
Right. You've been mowing some lawns or something.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I did as a kid. Because I remember, my dad grew up poor, and so even when he had money, he was just like, real thrifty with it. And so at that time, everybody was wearing Chucks. And I
Right.
think a pair of Chucks cost like, if you got the ones that didn't have any blemishes, they were like $13.99, and if you got the irregulars, they were like $11.99 down at Kaplan Sporting Goods in downtown Portland.
Wow.
And I can remember when I worked, I cut some lawns. I think I was cutting lawns for like $1.50, here and there.
Whoa.
And I got my little bit of money, and I went down there and bought some. And man, I swear I washed them things like every 2 or 3 days. Would take my laces out, get them a toothbrush so they wouldn't have the little black marks so you couldn't line it up. And then I see what these shoes cost now. It just kind of blows me away. So how many shoes do you have in your collection?
Let's just say over 100.
Over 100. You got some stuff that I had never seen before. Like,
yeah, it's a bit of an obsession at this point. I don't know. Like, part of my business hustle is through shoes. So I buy, sell, and trade a lot of shoes and clothes. So I get a lot of shoes that come through my hands that I keep, and then I get some that I sell, and then buy more shoes with. So.
Okay, so there you go again. I didn't even get into that. You said part of your business hustle. I told you this brother was out here grinding and stuff. So you actually buy and sell like clothing and shoes too.
Yeah. So when I go to Japan, I usually stock up on stuff and bring it back home, and then clothes and shoes, just something I've been selling for years. Ever since you see all these trendy clothes and Jordan brand stuff and all the other hot name brand clothes. I always like getting my hands on it. And it's ghetto gold in the streets. Like, people will see you knowing that you're a Jordan Connect or a Yeezy Connect or anything like that, and they're going to be hitting you up. So I already figured, hey, if I ever need some pocket change, or if I ever need to do a quick flip, keep my hand in the shoe game, keep my hand in the fashion game. And that's kind of what I did. At first, it was to be a fashion creator. I created my own brand, Rich Kid Academy, and we had 8 good seasons of it. And then I discontinued the line, or I just would say pause it for now. I do plan on bringing it back in time, but yeah, now instead of doing that, it's just shuffling around and moving around the brands that are already out and getting some paper from that. So it's been real good, and the hustle's been well to me. I have a lot of clientele and everybody who buys from me through Instagram, Facebook, and just my personal contacts.
Now, what are your plans for well, I know right now we're dealing with this COVID. So what would you say as far as priority?
Well, going into 2021 is to preserve thy youth and stay healthy. Like, as long as I can stay healthy and preserve my youth and keep this show going, like, that's what I tell a lot of people. They're like, what's next for you? What are you going to do now that you've, reached, pro gaming status and the stuff that you always wanted to do? And I always tell them to not stop. I just got to keep going and finding on new, fun ways to reinvent myself, and to keep plotting on new ways to make more money and to keep more income coming in, and also to help my family and my friends do the same thing. Like, I'm always trying to make sure that I can put other people on, or like help other people out. And I have in many different ways. So I'm real happy to see a lot of the people that have benefited from me helping them open their networks, or, through my business partners, or just even scenarios that I'm in and stuff.
All right. So now, if people want to check you out, I always like for the people that I talk to on the Boozadelic Chronicles to put out, all their different social media stuff, or links to, as I know you said you had the SoundCloud for your music, but where else can they find you out there in this virtual world?
So you can find me on Twitter at DRB3000. You can find me on Facebook, Dr.B, DR.B, all capitals. And in Instagram at DJ Galaxy B, and that's real simple. And then you guys can follow my gaming team, which is at Team Strike First, and that's with a 1ST, at Team Strike First, and that's the same on Instagram. That's the same on Twitter. That's the same on Facebook. So check us out. We got a lot of good video projects and documentaries and all sorts of fun gaming, including our own show that's coming soon. So stay tuned for the Strike First Gaming Show, which is about music, fashion, and entertainment within the gaming community. So it's going to be lit, and we have a whole show and production and directors and everything going on. So stay tuned for that on my links that I provided y'all.
All right, yeah, check them out, like and follow it, and then you can catch me on YouTube at Clark C. Booz, my username on YouTube, and Instagram, you'll find me as Boozadelic, and on Facebook, I'm Clark C. Boozadelic. So make sure that you like this video, make sure that you subscribe to this video, and most of all, make sure that you share this video. So, Dr. B, A.K.A. Galaxy B, what parting advice do you have for my friends out here in this virtual world?
Well, Galaxy B's final thought is to live free and die hard. No, I'm just kidding. My advice to you is, number one, help somebody else out in life, because especially if you're doing well, help somebody else and reach the hand to teach, because to reach one is to teach one. So I feel like helping somebody, take them under your wing. And if you see somebody going through a hard time, depression, anything like that, be there for them. Just help people right now. Right now is the best time just to be there for somebody and to let them know that you love them, because we're living in a dark and cold world and some light is definitely needed. So bring your light, bring your love to people, and pursue what you want to do in life. Don't let anyone stop you. You're never too old. You're never too young. You're just who you are. Just be you, and definitely give praise to God. So whoever you believe in, whatever God or universal being or the universe itself, make sure you believe in something, because if you believe in nothing, you ain't nothing. And that's what I believe. So that's my closing parting words, and to stay fresh out there. That's it. Forever fresh on them.
So there you have it, folks, from the one and only Dr. B, A.K.A. Galaxy B. And I just want to reiterate what he said about finding that, source, whether it's God, whether it's your higher power. In my world, they're all connected. It all comes from the same source. It's just a matter of, which way you try to look at it and which way you are comfortable. But it's very important to identify that, because it will not steer you wrong. Y'all. Oh, I forgot to also say you can catch me in my DJ mixes on Mixcloud. That's DJ Boozadelic on Mixcloud.com, y'all. Check it out, and thanks again for tuning in.
And you are now listening to WDRB Radio, spinning the most intergalactic hits. DJ Galaxy B. I'm spinning yen with my friends, yen with my friends. Started at 100, graduated to a Benz. Counting yen with my friends, yen with my friends. Went from a Toyota, had to upgrade to a Benz. Yen with my friends, and all the pens. On the weekend, had to count the dividends. I get money, all the money, cut out all the middlemen. And that bathing ain't my camo in this war that I will win. I'm so crafty with my pen, never been inside the pen. Kazi on the beat, yeah, the kid, my best friend. Putting lots of yen in the letter that I send. I'm so Tokyo fresh in Shibuya shopping. I'm spending yen with my friends, yen with my friends. Started at 100, graduated to a Benz. Counting yen with my friends, yen with my friends. Went from a Toyota, had to upgrade to a Benz. I told you I'm the man. My clothes be from Japan. Sayonara to my haters when I touch upon the land. Chilling out Fukuoka, eating sushi by the sand. And with Kazi on the beat, yeah, I'm chilling with my clan. Look back to Harajuku just to map the master plan. And I'm looking in the mirror, yes, I realize who I am. Spinning yen with my friends, yen with my friends. Started at 100, graduated to a Benz. Counting yen with my friends, yen with my friends. Went from a Toyota, had to upgrade to a Benz. Spinning yen with my friends, yen with my friends. Started at 100, graduated to a Benz. Counting yen with my friends, yen with my friends. Went from a Toyota, had to upgrade to a Benz.